Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, we're jumping right in today because we are breaking down a truly fascinating story. On the surface, yeah, it looks like just a simple golf match. But as we dig into the source material, you're going to see how it actually transforms into this profound, surprisingly emotional look at aging, nostalgia, and, the passage of time. Honestly, it's a journey that completely resonates whether you've ever actually picked up a golf club or not. So it brings up this fascinating question. Can you rewrite history against your greatest rival? It's a hook that taps right into human nature, isn't it? We're looking at a classic underdog story today, fueled by that highly relatable, kind of ego-driven desire to literally go back in time and change the narrative against that one person who always just seemed to have your number. Come on, we all have that one person, right? Let's look at how our host attempts to do exactly this. Okay, let's dive into this with the number 10. 10 long years have passed since our two main subjects were in their physical prime. Back then, they were spending their days relentlessly grinding out 36 holes a day at a place called Sunflower Hills. A full decade of life has just flown by since those endless afternoons on the fairway. Act 1. Return to Sunflower Hills. A decade later at the home turf. So, back during their college days, these two teammates were absolutely inseparable on the course, just grinding out a grueling 36 holes every single day. But then, well, we have the in-between, a 10-year gap where their paths diverged entirely. And today marks a really poignant reunion. You can literally feel the profound gap between that relentless practice schedule of their youth and the entirely different lives they lead as they step onto the first tee today. Act 2. The unbeatable college rival. The white whale opponent. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive dichotomy between these two men today. The host has transformed his love for the game into an absolute obsession, literally building a global YouTube career around it. Mark, on the other hand, well, he traded in his competitive clubs for a regular job and the deep, everyday responsibilities of fatherhood. In fact, Mark only plays golf maybe twice a year now. It's just a stunning contrast, really, between an all-consuming passion and a life that has simply moved on to other priorities. Yet despite that massive difference in their current skill and practice time, there's one truth that really haunts the host. He has almost never beaten Mark in his entire life. I mean, think about the historical weight of that ego-driven quest. You've got a guy who plays golf for a living stepping onto the course against a guy who plays twice a year. And that mental block, it's still completely there. But because Mark is so out of practice, the host sees this very narrow, fleeting window today to finally secure a victory and, rewrite his own history. But as they start playing, the course itself acts as this incredibly powerful vessel from memory. It triggers intense nostalgia for their younger, high-stakes days. They find themselves reminiscing about the old chipping-for-dollars games of their youth. They talk about the intense, suffocating pressure of maintaining college eligibility. And then there's the surreal, almost jarring experience of standing under the exact same trees a full decade later. It's like the environment is literally pulling them back in time. Act 3. The course fights back. Kansas as the third character. Let's see how this builds because Sunflower Hills acts as an absolute antagonist here. It is a wildly humid, mud-slicked day in Kansas, and the environment is just throwing harsh, unpredictable physical obstacles at the players left and right. We're talking about treacherous trees blocking their shots and those highly unpredictable cart path bounces that just send the ball flying into absolute nowhere. The course is essentially refusing to let the host have an easy victory over his white whale. And right in the middle of this battle against the elements, disaster strikes. A totally freak accident completely destroys the channel's drone. And look, this isn't just a piece of equipment. It's described as the channel's longtime companion. Its sudden crash out there on the course serves as a massive emotional turning point in the day. The energy completely shifts. Because this drone crash happens right in the shadow of this number, 1,000. The channel is nearing its 1,000th video milestone. When you combine the loss of their longtime robotic companion with the looming weight of producing 1,000 videos, well, the emotional stakes of this single round of golf are heavily raised. It's definitely no longer just a fun afternoon catching up with an old college buddy. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the host puts it. It's no longer just a match, it's a tribute to the channel's own journey. The friendly reunion has completely transformed into a high-stakes emotional tribute. The pressure is on, not just to beat Mark, but to truly honor the sheer amount of work, time, and life that is poured into the last decade. Act 4. The final target, 67. beating the course, not the friend. All the tension of the day, the mud, the humidity, the destroyed drone, the entire decade of ego, it completely transforms into a unified quest for the host to shoot a highly difficult score of 67. It becomes a battle for a personal milestone. The goal isn't to beat Mark into the ground anymore. No, the goal is to conquer the course together. The closing moments of the game bring this really profound realization. The host sees that while his own game evolved through just endless repetition, the day actually doesn't end with some blowout victory. It ends with a simple, hard-fought par. And through that shared struggle, he realizes that while their skill levels have diverged dramatically, their true connection, it remains completely unchanged by the last 10 years. So, the crucial point is the FWI mantra. This is the powerful takeaway for any seasoned athlete. Achieving a successful return to form and a point of connection, totally regardless of what numbers are actually written on the final scorecard. It shows us that how we define a win matures and softens as we grow older. Which leaves us with this final, beautiful thought to wrap up today's explainer. Are the best victories found on the scorecard or in the people we play alongside? The ghosts of Sunflower Hills remind us that the numbers fade, the milestones pass, and, yeah, the drones crash. But those lifelong connections, they endure. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this leaves you reflecting on the unbeatable rivals and lifelong friendships in your own life.